When I go for a walk,
Where?
outside,
What for?
walking,
To do what?
walking.
No.
On va se promener?
D'accord. In France, people love to go outside just for a walk, to enjoy the weather, to admire the nature of the country, or to do lèche vitrine, which consists of looking at what's in store without buying anything, among other activities. And this is why you will hear the two verbs se promener and se balader, which mean to go for a walk, to go for a ride, to go outside without real purpose, very often if you come over here. And this is a perfect excuse for me to teach you about something that happens in French very often when French people speak. You must have heard that when the person with me offered to go for a walk, she said, on va se promener, which is normally spelled, on va se promener. Do you hear the difference? Yes, some elements of the sentence were skipped. They were deliberately not pronounced. This is a phenomenon that in English we call the elision. You also do this when you speak English. For example, if you say I'm hungry instead of I am hungry, you definitely skip the sound e of m to go faster. Well, in French it's the same, but we do not skip the same sounds as in English. The main sound that we tend to skip is the sound e. Again, e, not e, just e. And this sound occurs pretty often in French language, and I'm going to teach you how you may skip it if you want to speak faster. This is also going to level up your listening skills, because knowing this fact will definitely help you understand better when people speak fast and do this to you, which disturbs the way you picture the language versus the way people actually speak it, is one of the main reasons why you feel like you're not understanding anything when you listen to French. So let's get into it. When do we skip and how do we skip elide the sound e? Well, we elide it first when it's in the subject pronoun je. When it's in the subject pronoun je, we tend to skip the sound a lot. So it will transform certain sentences, certain phrases that you are used to listen to hear in French very much. For example, instead of saying je suis, I am, we tend to often say suis, merging the j and the s into sh, because the e is skipped. Je suis, suis. Likewise, we often do it with je sais, which becomes sais. You've probably heard sometime je sais pas becoming sais pas, just to go faster. Another case in which we skip the e sound is inside words. So inside words, when a word has at least 3 syllables and one in the middle of them is an e sound, you may skip it. Let me give you a couple of examples. Well, the verb se promener becomes se promener in French very often, because you see that the e sound is between 2 other syllables, which allow us to skip it. Another example, relever, to lift back up or to note, depending on the context, will become relever, and the e is skipped in between, because as long as we've got 2 syllables with 2 vowels, we're happy. Let's put it this way. The last case in which the e sound is skipped is inside sentences. Another example is je suis en retard, which will often become je suis en retard. Due to that elision, we'll skip the e sound of retard, whereas when we pronounce the word alone, we'll say it fully, retard. Je suis en retard, je suis en retard. That's the way we speak, that's the normal pace at which we speak in French. Another example of this skipping within sentences is object or reflexive pronouns. So for example, me, te, and se. If I say, je me suis levé à 7 heures, I woke up at 7 a.m., hopefully, we are going to skip the sound of the object pronoun me, or te, or se, giving je me suis levé à 7 heures. Do you hear the difference? If you want to tell somebody you're going to pick them up, likewise, you will say je vais passer te chercher, normally, but it will become je vais passer te chercher instead, skipping the sound of both je and te chercher, at the end. And this is how you operate the elision in French. Thank you for staying with me until the end of this video. I hope it's gonna help you level up both your understanding skills and speaking skills in French. So to summarize what I said, remember that when a sound is either at the beginning of a sentence, in the first syllable of a sentence, or within a sequence of syllables which allows you to skip it, so it should not be the last, there should be one before and one after. In that case, you can skip the sound and contract the word into 2 syllables instead of 3. Now, to show me that you have understood, I hope, can you please tell me which sound you would skip in the following sentence I'm gonna give you? Je vais pas pouvoir venir te revoir demain. I'm not gonna be able to come and see you again tomorrow. Which sound are you able to skip and which are you not? Let me know in the comments. And for the answer, listen carefully. Je vais pas pouvoir venir te revoir demain. Je vais pas pouvoir venir te revoir demain. Typically, I would not skip all of the sound, but this is what it would sound like. I hope this video was useful for you guys. If you enjoyed our content, show YouTube that you appreciate it by liking the video, commenting, answering the questions we ask you in it, also by sharing with your friends. And if you want to improve all of your skills by working on your pronunciation and how French people pronounce their language, you'll definitely enjoy our ultimate pronunciation course, of which link is down below. Merci et à bientôt.